Here's an embarrassing admittance. I didn't get my driver's license until I was almost 19 years old. That's right, I was out of high school for about 7 or 8 months before I finally got my license. This despite having taken driver's ed thanks to my mom. Despite having driven with friends who were terrified to have me behind the wheel of a car because I just was never very comfortable, especially when it came to taking turns. Going around turns, I always used to overcorrect. I used to steer into the turn and I would drive the car too far over, which would often lead me up against, if not a little bit over the curb. And this is when I was just driving on side streets. I wouldn't even drive on like populated traffic streets. There was no way that was ever going to happen. This is a shout to my friend Kevin, who spent time with me in high school, both during my junior and my senior years, trying to help me get over this fear and try and teach me how to drive and not to be scared. There was one day where we tried driving and things didn't go too well. So we went to a pretty well-known pizza place in Greenfield, Massachusetts, where I was living at the time. I live just outside of Springfield now, so it's probably about 30 minutes north of here. So we went to the pizza place and we were getting some pizza, and there was this game with a steering wheel attached to it that was sitting against a wall. And going to a pizza place back then, you were always going to have video games in there. This video game with the steering wheel on it was a game called OutRun. Now, I hadn't really played OutRun before. I might have seen it in arcades, but I never really paid attention to it because driving games really weren't my thing. But I was convinced to go ahead and give OutRun a try, and I did. And I did okay, but I wasn't doing great. But the more that I played, I kept putting quarters in there, and the better I would do. And getting pizza would be something that we would do pretty regularly because I started to get better at this game. I wanted to play it more. I wanted to get a feel for how to play and eventually how to beat the game. After a few weeks, I did figure out, or not really figure out, but get good enough to beat the game. And all the while, because OutRun has a force feedback steering wheel that I would always kind of snap back to the center, I started to understand not to oversteer into a turn and kind of let the car do its thing. I didn't overcorrect. I felt more confident. And it's weird because I'm playing a video game. It's not a real thing. I got better and better. And thanks to my buddy Kevin, and then thanks to a couple of friends of mine out in Worcester, Massachusetts, where I moved early on in 1991, I finally got the determination and the confidence to be able to go for my driver's license test and pass it. And I've had a license ever since. So OutRun has always had a very special place for me. Whenever I see it in arcades, I play it. I play it in Yakuza 6. I played it for my 3DS when that was working. It just died recently, sadly. I enjoy the game immensely. OutRun 2 came out for the Xbox. I believe it was 2004-ish. I could be wrong on that. And I had an Xbox not long after OutRun 2 came out. It was one of the reasons I wanted one, and I did get one before long. I did get a copy of the game, and I really enjoyed that as well. It looked so much different than the original arcade game, but you could still listen to the original arcade game music, which I really got a kick out of, and it was fun to play. So what does that have to do with this episode of Unsealed? I've given you about 4 minutes of backstory. Well, it's because today's game is an OutRun game. It is not the Genesis version, and it's not OutRun 2, so it's not an Xbox game. It is OutRun 2006 Coast to Coast. This game came out, I believe, in 2006-ish. This is kind of like a definitive edition of OutRun 2 for the Xbox, with exclusive Ferraris. There are different tracks. You can play the game online if you want. There's unlockable content as well. I always liked this game. Now, I've had it just disc only for a long, long time. I have been looking for a complete copy, and then when I started doing this show, I wanted to find a copy that was sealed so I could go ahead and open it on camera. So I'm killing two birds with one stone here. I'm going to have a complete copy of the game, and I get to open it on camera and talk to you guys about it. So that's what we're going to do right now. OutRun 2006 Coast to Coast. This is a Sega game. We're going to try and do this on camera so that it doesn't run away. I'll definitely be making sure to catch the disc if it happens to fall out. There is the seal just coming right off there just like that. So we'll throw that away. Also, you notice just in front of the Ferrari, there's the Ferrari seal of authenticity. That's pretty neat as well. So when we open this up, good, the disc is seated, so we're not going to have another Hot Shots Golf 3. When we open this up, you get a copy of the disc right here with the box art from the front and the instruction manual over here as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at the instruction manual as we do each and every episode here. And when we take a look inside, it is not in full color. I'm not surprised. It's just your standard instruction manual. There are 16 pages, with 3 of those pages being either credits or a notes page. So there's not a lot here, but it's okay because this being an arcade game, there isn't a lot of setup. The game is pretty easy to learn. You can play either manual transmission or automatic. I play automatic all the time. I know that affects race times later in the game, but I'm not really comfortable with doing shifting. So I always played automatic. I played automatic in any situation that I can. Obviously, you have to manually shift in the arcade, or at the pizza place I had to do that, but it was not something I particularly wanted to do. And to be honest, I can't drive a stick shift today. I drive standard and standard only, so go figure. But the neat things about this game, aside from all of the unlockables, are just the different things that you can do. You can accumulate different licenses. There are different modes of play. The heart attack mode is always the more fun for me, where you have different tasks that you have to complete. And the better that you do, the more hearts you get. It puts the girl or the girlfriend into play here in the game. So this is really neat. This is a really neat find. It took me a little bit to find this. I actually took advantage of an eBay coupon to knock the price down. This was close to $40 sealed, which is a little bit up there, but because it's a game that I really wanted and it's different than your typical sports game, which I tend to open up on this program, it's a nice find. I still have a couple of games in my pile behind me that are not sports games, so we will get to those as we go, but there are some sports games as well. With the baseball all-star game coming up soon, I actually do have some baseball games I want to get to in the coming days and weeks, so we'll be definitely doing that. But OutRun 2006, I do recommend this. This is a great game to play. It's a lot of fun. If you don't have OutRun 2 for the original Xbox, this is a very decent version of the game. I believe it runs in somewhat high def, which is kind of cool if you have a TV that handles that. Me, I'm running it on my GX TV, so I'm not too worried about the resolution. And it looks great on a CRT. It handles well. The game is just a lot of fun to play, and there's a ton of stuff to unlock, so this will be keeping you busy for a while if you decide to get this. I don't recommend getting it sealed, however. I recommend getting it either disc only or complete in box, and you can usually get complete for about $20 or so, the last couple of listings that I saw. So if you have played this game in the past, I'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on OutRun 2006 or even OutRun 2? Or heck, you can even talk to me about your original experience with the OutRun arcade game if you've played it. Special shout to GameSack, who talked about this on an episode not too long ago and gave me the inspiration to go ahead and pick this up. I really do appreciate them bringing that back to the forefront of my mind, because I've had this disc-only version for so long, I kind of forgot about it. But now I'm going to be going ahead and I'm going to be putting some time into this over the summer, so it's going to be fun to play. As always, thank you very much for checking out this episode and all of my episodes of Unsealed. I really do appreciate it. I hope that you enjoy watching them as much as I do putting them together for you. We will do another one soon. Looks like the heat's going to be coming back here in New England, so it may be a few days, but I have plenty of games to get to, and I definitely will get to them in the coming days and weeks. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and until the next time, see ya.